But ask them, what will you do to stand up to the oil and gas industry? That's a pretty big question, I think.
As you said, to engage people in the political process, part of the solution or part of the answer is which is to bring people along and then give them more knowledge and information to take decisions and have more options for them when they go to vote. How do you engage majority of the country in the political process, and is to do more research on who they vote for and why they're voting for, rather than just... So how do you solve that disengagement to becoming more engaged in the political process?
I think part of it is breaking down the power of the mainstream media, which is what we're trying to do. Well, at least what I'm trying to do. I don't want to speak for you. I think part of it is speaking to people's everyday concerns, speaking to them in their communities, which is one of the things I think the community independents do, is that they're from the community, they're speaking to people in the community. It's like, rather than being asked to vote for someone who's parachuted in from somewhere else by the major parties, it's like, oh, I know that person, they're like my doctor, or they're, someone who I know because they run a shop. I think that's a kind of good thing, and I think the rest of the political spectrum could learn from that. But yeah, I think it's also just providing like good options, because it's very easy to get cynical and disengaged because people don't trust politicians. Well, let's get some politicians we can trust. They're out there. So I think if we have ordinary people getting in there, getting amongst it, hopefully that can inspire some positive change. And I think, that's part of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to explain complex things to people in simple terms so that they can make informed decisions.
We'll have an election in the next fortnights. If anybody locally, they want to do research on their local politician, on all the parties, what are the 3 things they should be looking for?
Yeah, good question. I'd be probably going to talk to them, would be my first thing, is trying to actually have a conversation with them. If you can't get a conversation with them, that's maybe the first sign that they're not worth voting for. But ask them, what will you do to stand up to the oil and gas industry? That's a pretty big question, I think. And then I guess think about what other issues you care about. For me, it might be, okay, what are you going to do to... Another issue I care about is foreign affairs and AUKUS. I think it's terrible that we're sending all this money to get these submarines, which we're never going to get. I think that we're giving up our sovereignty to the United States. I'd ask the representative about that. Do you think the AUKUS deal is a good deal? And do you think it's a good idea that we are basically just giving billions of dollars to the US when the US, Donald Trump doesn't even know what AUKUS is, a journalist asked him the other day. And he was like, what's that? So I think that that's another thing I'd be asking about. And then the third thing for me personally would probably be housing. What are you going to do on housing? And then I guess it's just about evaluating those positions and using that critical thinking and seeing how they stack up. Yeah.